Hello and good day. Welcome to our video channel, God's Promises. And today's video will be Book of Exodus 10. Let's get started now. Verse 1 to 6, God sends the ninth plague, darkness, upon Egypt, covering the land for 3 days. Pharaoh again refuses to let the Israelites go, despite Moses' warning of a final plague. Verse 7 to 11, Moses warns Pharaoh of the coming of the final plague, the death of the firstborn. Pharaoh orders Moses and Aaron to leave, but only the men are allowed to go. Pharaoh's heart remains hardened. Verse 12 to 15, God instructs Moses to tell the Israelites to prepare for the final plague by sacrificing a lamb and placing its blood on their doorposts to protect them from the angel of death. This ritual becomes known as the Passover. Verse 16 to 20, Moses instructs the Israelites to follow God's commandment and celebrate the Passover as a memorial of their deliverance from slavery in Egypt. Verse 21 to 29, God sends the 10th and final plague, the death of the firstborn, upon Egypt. All the firstborn of Egypt, including Pharaoh's son, are killed. The Israelites are spared, as the angel of death passes over their homes with the blood of the lamb on their doorposts. Verse 30 to 32, Pharaoh and the Egyptians finally release the Israelites from slavery and urge them to leave Egypt. Meaning and symbolism. The plagues in Exodus 10 serve as a culmination of God's power and authority over Pharaoh and the false gods of Egypt. The darkness that covers the land during the ninth plague represents the darkness of Pharaoh's heart and the blindness of the Egyptian people to God's power. The death of the firstborn, the final plague, symbolizes the judgment of God upon the sin and disobedience of Pharaoh and the Egyptians. The Passover ritual, in which the Israelites sacrifice a lamb and place its blood on their doorposts, symbolizes the substitutionary atonement of Christ, who would later become the ultimate sacrificial lamb for the forgiveness of sins. The story of Exodus 10 teaches us several important lessons. Firstly, it emphasizes the justice and judgment of God upon sin and disobedience. The plagues and the death of the firstborn show us the consequences of rejecting God's authority and disobeying His commandments. Secondly, the story highlights the importance of faithfulness and obedience to God. The Israelites were faithful in following God's commandments and were spared from the final plague. Lastly, the story of the Passover serves as a reminder of the sacrifice of Christ for the forgiveness of sins. Christians celebrate the Passover as a memorial of their deliverance from the slavery of sin through the sacrifice of Christ on the cross. In conclusion, the story of Exodus 10 demonstrates God's power and authority over Pharaoh and the false gods of Egypt, and teaches us about the justice and judgment of God, the importance of faithfulness and obedience, and the sacrifice of Christ for the forgiveness of sins. Thank you for visiting us today. Please share with us your favorite Bible verse below in the comments section. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It really does help our channel grow. Looking forward to see you back here for our next video. Always take good care.